You are listening to the Inspiring Your Shine podcast, where you will be empowered with the truth to live authentically, abundantly, and on purpose, taking you and your business from surviving to thriving by helping you be authentically you. Hello, welcome to Inspiring Your Shine. This is Rebecca, and this is a bonus episode of a behind-the-scenes recording between my friend Cory and myself, having a conversation about body image and insecurities. I think that you would really appreciate it, so I took a risk and I'm getting this out to you. So let me know what you think about it. We enjoyed making this recording so much and having our chat that we decided for the next 12 weeks we were going to pick topics to just talk about, and so be looking for those in the upcoming weeks. I'll be releasing one each week as a bonus episode in addition to my normal episode each week. Thanks so much for listening. And here you go.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Yeah, so we don't have to just hang up, but I'll just stop the recording.
You come to life when you get going and you look beautiful. So you need to stop being so hard on yourself.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
You do. You really come to life. Like you're definitely like, which I feel the same way. At first you feel a little like, what am I doing? And then it just comes out of you. It's just like, whew, very cool.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And then that's what it's like, that block. So, we all have like our different things that we have to overcome. And so all my life, it was insecurities about not being enough in whatever way, like pretty enough,
right.
Interesting enough, or my family in the birth order that I was in, just the life that I had. It was always, I don't have enough money. We don't have enough.
Right.
My family always kind of laughed at me because I was a big dreamer. I was the anomaly in the family, and I always had all these big dreams. And so I've really had to work against that, of not feeling like I'm enough all the time. And I can still look at all of these influencers online. And I just did this contest the other day, and it was like, follow all these people. So I followed 14 of these successful women that were all in this thing. And I was studying their Instagram profiles so I could see what they said and how they did it. And what I noticed is they all looked beautiful and amazing. And then they had 54 to 200,000 followers. And then I started feeling like, why do I think that I could be like this? And that's the voices that you have to look out for,
Well, and that's all coming from comparison.
Right.
So, and with Hannah, I noticed with my daughter, because she's in the modeling industry and because everything's online now, she unfortunately gets to see everyone else's work.
Right.
So she's constantly being this constant onslaught of comparison.
And she's beautiful.
It's like the internet is good and bad. It's ridiculous. And real estate is a ridiculously competitive comparison type industry. Like they breed that in you, and it's always about awards, and it's always about all that. And I have not mastered it, because I do every once in a while go back and forth. But this year I've really I did pretty good last year. This year I've done even better. I don't really care what everybody else is doing.
So true.
I really don't, because we have, in my office, we have the top team in the country in my office. They sell $52 million in real estate a year. I mean, we have astronomical producers in our office.
Wow.
And they're my friends. Like, these are the people I'm in the halls with. And I always would feel this insecurity around them. And I have literally just thrown that away, because these people are my age, by the way. These people are my age. These are my peers. And I decided that I was not going to feel that way anymore. I'm like, I am just as amazing as they are. This is what they chose to do with their career. That is not what I don't even want it.
Right.
I don't even want that anymore. So when I gave that away, I feel like this door has opened for me, because when you stop trying to be something you're not, then God shows you this other amazing thing. Like, I feel like I literally just got off on the exit.
Yeah.
And I'm at this new little wonderland of like, oh, I didn't know, And so I just think we're all different. We're all beautiful, especially women. Like, I really, really, really just have started just worshiping women. I'm like, we're incredible. We make human beings. Hello. We're incredible. We're goddesses. But you, of course, have to find that for yourself. And Hannah calls it, or the younger kids, but my daughter especially, she calls it glowing up. And it's like you suddenly embrace who you are as a woman, your body type, your hair, your eyes, your personality, your everything. And oh my gosh, since she told me that was a thing, I've seen it. I've seen it in myself. I've seen it and some people never glow up. That's what's sad, is some people never do. They never do. But when you see a woman and she is owning who she is, and it has nothing to do with her weight, it has nothing to do with her body, it has nothing to do with how she looks, it's something inside of her is like, I'm amazing.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, she just like embodies who she is. And we all have to come to that on our own timeline. Like there's no, like somebody can tell you pretty all day long, but until you really like feel it or see it or whatever. I felt the same. Like I didn't really love my body until I was like 37, 38, because I always thought I was big. I thought I was like a big girl. Like, I don't know where I got this concept from.
You're not, so that's funny.
I'm not, but like my self-image, all my friends in high school were really little girls, like 5'2", size 2. I've never been a size 2.
Right.
I was never even a size 2 in grade school. Okay. Like that's just not my body.
Right.
That's just not who I am as a woman. I mean, I'm 5'8". I'm a size 12. I would say, but I have learned to really love my body, but I didn't. I did not. I didn't for all those years. And it's like, ooh, that's so sad.
Right.
So it's like a tricky thing to like growing into yourself, or I don't know how to explain it. It's just so hard.
I love that concept, glowing up. I think it would be so good to have your daughter talking about those things, and you as this mature,
and she struggles with self-esteem, and people look at her and they're like, how is this possible? Because she's just looking at her, it's her self-image.
Right.
And boys go through it too. Boys go through it, except they're not allowed to really feel any emotion, according to society. They have to be like, hardcore all the time. But I mean, boys have body image issues too, but it's just it's something that I never understood until I got much older.
Yeah.
And then even my daughter said that about my mom. I was like, look at my mom, look how amazing she looks. And she said, oh, grandma glowed up.
Aww.
I was like, you're right.
That's cool.
She did.
Yeah.
And it was like, it's a real thing. And you can see it if you watch women on Instagram or watch women on Facebook. Like sometimes you'll just see somebody come out of their shell and you're like, glowed up. She just glowed up just
and
now.
I think that I just barely started that. I mean, within the past year. I mean, I started forcing myself to show up, but I was hiding behind my brand. I was hiding behind what I had to say. I wasn't showing up. Like you could look through my Instagram feed and there were no pictures of me. And then if you go now, you'll see that I probably have like 10 pictures of me in this past, 6 months or something. Cause I just decided like I have to be seen. And, and that it's important for me to be able, like you're saying, like to be in full alignment with myself. I can't just think I'm really great in this area. I have to think I'm great in all areas. And part of that too was like really taking responsibility for, this was something I kind of had a little bit of a breakdown at the beginning of the year. And basically I had been really sick for like weeks. And so I just hadn't felt physically good, but also I just got sick and tired of being sick and tired about my body and my weight and not fitting in my clothes and not feeling good and not wanting pictures of myself, not wanting videos of myself and things that I needed for my business, not wanting to do that. And so I was standing at the sink doing dishes, of course, like just having a pity party, crying. And I just kind of made a commitment that
I'm the queen of pity parties, so it always makes me laugh because I'm like, girl, I feel you.
I know my family was in the room and I just tears coming down and they were just like, oh, mama's having her deal, so just leave her alone. And so I was just crying and I was having this conversation with myself about like, I've got to do something. And I was thinking about all the things that were going wrong and everything I needed and how much lack I had. And that was when I chose my word of the year was going to be prosper. And I said, that's it. I'm going to prosper and I'm going to focus for the first 3 months. I'm going to prosper in my body. And I made a commitment that I was going to, just whatever it took to prosper in my body. And, I haven't eaten perfect. I started out really good. I've gotten not as good, but I've stuck with exercising and but the most important thing is I've been prospering in that I haven't been beating myself up as much. If I see myself in the mirror or something isn't perfect, I'm not obsessing over it and looking at myself and cutting myself down. I've been more accepting. And so I've definitely been glowing up, like, since I chose to do that.
I have an assignment for you.
All right.
Because this was for me, the most powerful thing that I did that changed how I saw myself. So I want you to take selfies of yourself.
Okay. When I got my bangs, I did that. It was so awkward, but
I want you to, like, really, because when I went through my divorce, I don't know why I started, but selfies were brand new. I didn't know how to take a selfie, and I was kind of like, I don't get it. Like, why do I need this? Why do I need to take a selfie? I took a few pictures of myself, and I took a picture of myself undressed.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, I'm pretty skinny. Like, I was kind of like, it was almost like I was looking at someone else.
Oh.
I know that sounds really weird, but it just really, like, was a shift for me.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I have a pretty body. And I had never, ever thought that before. So I was like, huh. So it became kind of like a practice to, like, study myself in picture. So I took, I started, like, and the beauty of it was that I never felt comfortable getting my picture taken. Mm-hmm. So, but when you're the one taking the picture, you can be completely relaxed because nobody's going to see it.
Right.
You're not sharing it. So this is just for you. So take pictures of yourself undressed. Take pictures of yourself in different poses. Like, take pictures and, like, with a dress on. Take pictures with no makeup on. Like, I took a picture of myself with no makeup on, and I was like, huh. I'd always had makeup on, always, because I never felt comfortable with how I looked without it. Mm-hmm. So it was just really, really interesting. And it absolutely built my confidence, and it just changed how I saw myself. And just keep taking different angles until you're like, interesting. Interesting. I really love that about myself. Like, you'll start to see things. I think you'll start to see things that you don't necessarily appreciate right now. Mm-hmm. But you definitely have to appreciate yourself wherever you are, because I'm in that battle right now, because I lost some weight and then I gained some back. And now I'm like, okay, now I know what I can look like when I'm really fit. I'm not as slim as I was. Mm-hmm. So now it's like, that's that comparison. But then I have to tell myself, well, I'm a human being. It's a process. I'm always trying to do better. Mm-hmm. So I still have to be happy where I am right now.
Yeah.
Even though I'm not exactly where I want to be.
Exactly. And I think sometimes if you make a plan to change that thing that you don't like, so I'm mm-hmm. liking this idea of taking the pictures and, like, okay, that's still something I'm not happy with, but if I'm not happy with it, instead of just condemning myself, is there anything I can do about it? Is there something that I can do? Right. Yeah. Because, like, for instance, I used to have a really tiny, cute stomach. And then after each kid, it got to a place where I started holding weight in my stomach like I never had before. And so what it is, though, is when I eat sugar or empty carbs, then I swell up. So it's not even that I'm really so fat. It's inflammation. Yeah. Yeah. And so one thing that I need to take control over and responsibility over is, if I don't want to look like that, if I don't like how I feel when I look like that, my pants are tight or my shirt is not looking right, then that's giving up that sugar and those carbs and limiting myself more, drinking more water. And there's also other things that we can do, but exercising for sure.
And just eating better on the whole, like, just doing better. Like, I find for myself, like, okay, I'm not going to just give up everything. Mm-hmm. That's not reasonable. I'm not going to give up sugar. I'm not going to give up chocolate, but I can do better. Yeah. I can do better, and I can make more conscious decisions about what I'm eating, and then relating that to how I'm going to feel later. Like, do you really want to eat that? Right. Because you know what's going to happen if you do eat that. And don't you love when your pants actually fit and you're not, like, busting out of them? So it's like, it's hard though. It's hard. It's a battle, but I agree. Instead of condemning yourself, like, okay, what are you going to do though? Because that cycle of disliking you're just feeding that cycle of being unhappy with yourself. Right. And I really love that idea of, what are the things that you can actually appreciate now? Like, okay, there's not everything, but we're always looking at things individually instead of as the whole. Right. And, like, for me, I have still really nice legs and my butt's pretty toned. Like, so I can put on a pair of jeans, and if I wear the right shirt, like, I can feel, like, put on my heels, and I'm like, okay, I look good. I feel good about me when I look in the mirror, So I think think that's the thing. It's a combination of feeling good about where you are right now, but also realizing that you want to do a little better. Yeah. It's like, okay, I'm making progress, but I look hot right now. This is what makes me feel good. But I noticed I'm really good at tricking myself into just wearing things that make me feel good. And then I'm just denying that I'm actually have gained some weight. Yeah. So I'm like, this is fine. Yeah. I look great. But it's like, the reality is I can't wear everything I want to wear.
Right.
So like that kind of staying in that balance of, you know, but I went through a little self-condemnation. It was probably maybe the beginning of the month. And I went through this whole, like, for several days, I was really unhappy with myself. One night I was journaling and I was like, I'm not going to do this. This is not who I am. I love my body. I'm beautiful. I'm very happy with who I am. I'm going to lose a few pounds, and that's the end of it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and tell myself that I'm fat and unattractive and look at my belly and look at this and look at that, look at this. It's like I had suddenly slipped into focusing on all the things I didn't like about myself. And it made me feel terrible.
Yeah.
It doesn't help you. It doesn't help you make progress.
No. And then, you know, when you're feeling that way, you're showing up in the world a particular way. And and I mean, one thing that I always talk about is like shine, that we need to shine, and we can't shine if we don't if we can't shine for ourselves, and we can't make anyone else shine. And
exactly.
So we can't be light to other people if we don't feel good about ourselves. So it really is something that we have to come to terms with. And us as women, I'm going to be doing a retreat in April. And one of the big topics is about being enough, because I've struggled so much with that topic. And one of the things is we're going to talk about body image and have a conversation like this and have them really appreciate things about them, what they do like and now, and then make goals for what they want to change and what they can do to change it, what they can control, because there's some things that we just can't control, especially not right away. It takes time. It's a process. But we're also going to do like a fashion show, and we're going to have a professional image consultant come in and give styling tips, because like you were saying, like even no matter where you're at right now, if you style yourself right, you can look good.
Amazing. Yeah, you can look amazing.
Yeah. And so it's going to be really amazing. I'm very excited about it.
Everybody deserves to feel good where you are right now. And, you know, I want to tell you something before we go, because this stands out, because this is something that I kind of like, I don't know, I had this realization a little while ago. I was listening to Joyce Meyer a lot, which is my habit. She was talking about, you know, basically where you get your worth from. So when you get your worth from work of the flesh, like your works of the flesh is where you get your sense of worth from, instead of from God. And that spoke to me so much, because she was talking about how she was so abused growing up that what made her feel good was doing work.
Yeah.
Because then she's had that sense of accomplishment, and that's where she got her worth from. So she became a workaholic, because that's where she was getting her worth from. So if you don't feel like you're doing a good job, and you're not meeting goals, and you're not doing this, and you're not doing that, you're not doing this, you don't feel good about yourself. But the reality is, you're already there.
Yeah.
And these are just exterior things. But when you said that, I was like, oh my gosh, I totally get that. Because I think for me, my childhood was similar. I wasn't getting the attention that I needed. And so I found a lot of pride in work ethic. And that's why I'm such a hard worker, because I was always looking for someone to tell me I'd done a good job.
Yeah.
And that's where I got my like love from. Like, ooh, I was very loved. Don't get me wrong, but I needed more affirmation than I was getting.
Yeah.
And so now that I'm an adult, I realized like, okay, I don't have to work hard to feel good, because I'm already good.
Yeah.
Like I don't have to prove it.
Exactly. And so I can literally in this moment stop what I'm doing, and I can just be, and I can enjoy a rest, and I can take a break, and I can relax, and I don't have to feel guilty about that, because
you're still your amazing version of you.
Exactly. It's so good. That's so true. And those are the lessons that I've been learning. And of course, certain things still rear up, and I don't think we ever are going to overcome it, because I think it's part of like just living in this world and the pressures and all of that. But like you said, I have evolved and become so much more self-aware that I don't let myself get away with that for a long period of time. Whereas before it might put me into a depression for a long time. So now it's like a much quicker turnaround for me to get out of my mood, to stop being pity party.
I used to waste I could ruin my own day, my whole day. I would just flop on the bed and start crying and just be like, well, I just can't deal. So I'm just not going to.
Exactly.
And now I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. But I mean, we all have our pity parties. I still do it. And it's okay to do that, but just, it's also good to recognize it and get out of it. I feel the same. Like the turnaround is much quicker.
Yeah. So I think sometimes that cry can be therapeutic because it's like you can really come to terms with how you're feeling. You're not letting it chase you around anymore. You're dealing with it. You're allowing it to feel, you can feel it. But then it's like, I think for me, it's therapeutic in that it helps me like get my thoughts right of like, cause I know that when I'm in those moments, I hate feeling that way. And so I'm like, okay, I don't want to keep feeling like this. So what do I need to do? What's next? So it's almost like a planning period for me after I have like that cry of like, okay, now we're reset, let's go. And we can move forward here. So, so good. So good talking to you. You have so many great things to say.
This is therapeutic in itself.
Yeah, so you didn't know it, but I kept the recording going on the other end. So I'm going to release this little conversation that we had about body image and stuff too, and I'll make all of this available to you so you can share it with everybody. And I just think that
we can't wait to meet in person. I mean, we've met, but
So I was going to ask you if you wanted to at my retreat. It's going to be Saturday, April 27th. So if you had a visit, kind of knew that you needed to get back.
When you said it, I was like, when is your retreat? Oh my gosh, that would be so cool.
Yeah, you could come and be like a guest speaker, and
oh my gosh,
because the second part of the day, I have 2 guest speakers in the beginning of the day, and then the second part is about intention and goals. I think that you could definitely add value there and talk about it, and if you wanted to, definitely would love to have you. So
where's your retreat?
Like, it's right here in Fort Collins. So it's going to be like an all-day thing from like 8 to 6, and it's for women. And it's not going to be like Bible study, but I'm going to start with a prayer. I'm going to have scriptures at every table, like a special scripture. Like I'm hoping that God's going to, whatever scripture that person needs, that's the scripture they're going to get. And then my daughter's going to hand letter all of them. And then I'm going to have probably a scripture for each of the 4 parts. So EPIC stands for enough, purpose, intention, and commitment. And so all those are the 4 sections of the day. And then I'm going to have a scripture that kind of encompasses each of those. And so that's kind of how I'm going to run it. So it's going to be a lot of just women, and I have a pretty big crew here, but I have seating for 50. We could move into the bigger room if I get like an overwhelming response, but for my first one, I wanted to not be too crazy. Yeah. So if you want to, of something, but I'm also going to do one November 2nd. I would love to have you. I just think that you and I should continue maybe we could even do something where you and I just have these kind of chats and we just kind of put them out there and just see what people think, because I just think 2 like evolved women, talking about how they've overcome things, and it might be really fun.
It's a fantastic partnership. Plus you're in Colorado, I could come there and I could see my family, and it could be a ride off.
And are you in Georgia, or where are you?
What's that? I'm in North Carolina. Yeah.
So, I would love to come out too. And maybe we could even put on like a little retreat out there or something and get you.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm just like so new to it all that I'm like, what? But I have already affirmed that I would be a speaker somewhere. So you're already offering it. And I'm like, this is moving at breakneck speed. I'm looking for a paid, I wrote down, I was like, I want to get paid $500 to speak somewhere. Might as well put it out there.
Definitely. You do. You have to like put that out there. I mean, I've done a lot of free stuff, but I also have got paid. I just did something and I got $300 just recently. Yeah, it feels good. It feels real good. I got my hair cut with that money, and I went shopping. I spent all the money on myself. I was like, that's it. I earned it. I deserve this. So it'll be really cool. I think that, so my friend Tara, so this is kind of cool. She was my exercise buddy, and she would come over to my house every day and we would exercise. And then she moved to Texas, and neither of us could manage to exercise on our own. And it was just too much hassle to try to find another exercise buddy. So we started FaceTime exercising. So every morning at 8 o'clock, we FaceTime exercise. but she is just like a military wife. She's stay-at-home mom. She homeschools her kids and stuff. But she was like, I just want to have somebody create a podcast or something where they just talk about real life stuff and just have conversations. And so I don't know. I just think it would be fun for us to just kind of maybe have a brainstorm session about topics. And then we just kind of riff on whatever it is that we think.
Because, it's like, that's what I think the appeal for me, if I were someone looking in right now on my own process, I think what the beauty of it right now is very raw and it's very unrehearsed.
Yeah.
It's not practiced. Right. So therefore it is completely honest because I really don't know what I should and shouldn't be saying. You know what I mean? It's like, it is what it is. I mean, people actually seek me out because of my honesty. Like my clients always say, oh, I know Cory won't BS us. That's why. And that's just not my style. So I think that kind of like, people like that because there's a lot of enabling out here. And that's just not me. I can be loving and I can still prompt you to take action. It's like, I love you, but you need to do this.
Yeah. You like gently kick people's butt in a loving way.
Yeah. Exactly. It's like, no. I see you making an excuse there, but I love you. Yeah. I love you, but you were definitely making an excuse.
I love that.
So I just want to lead by example. I'm not here to tell anybody where they are in their process because I don't receive that well. If somebody tries to tell me about myself, I don't receive that well because I like to find my own path. And I think most people do. Yeah. Most people do better when they can discover their own way. Yeah. And they will, when they're ready to receive it, they'll hear it and they'll do something about it. Yeah. You can't make somebody lose weight. You can't make them quit smoking. You can't do any of those things.
Right.
But you can plant those seeds. Like I posted that little meme that was so good. It's like, that's what I want to do is plant those little seeds and, help you discover yourself.
Exactly. I love it. I love it. Well, I think, we'll definitely have to team up and then we'll just like pick a time to just like riff like once a week or something. I think that might be we might be onto something together.
Absolutely. And it's fun because we're in different places and we're in different fields to an extent. We both have our own life experiences, but I think that women have so much power that is untapped. They need this stuff. They need it.
Yeah, totally.
And they're seeking it. Obviously, they're seeking it. That's why there's so many inspirational memes and motivational this and motivational that. I mean, everyone is really hungry.
Yeah, totally.
For that. They're hungry for it. And there's a lot of people that are very sad and very lost. They have just as much power as the next person. They just haven't discovered it yet.
Exactly.
Or they're overcoming a very, very difficult, people have to overcome some very difficult situations. But I think that you can. I mean, you just never know who's going to hear that little thing that's going to go, ooh, yeah,
Definitely. Yeah. I think it would be really fun to work together and do something. Just see how people perceive it, if they receive it, we can try to do it like where it's video and audio.
Right. And we can endorse each other. So obviously that's what's awesome to me is like, we're not competing because we can grow each other.
Yeah.
So it's
totally.
Great. Everybody has like what gets through to someone depends on that person. You know what I mean? So there's something for everyone. And we both have different points of view to share and
totally
it's going to draw in like-minded people anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that'll be fun to see what people catch on. And, I would love for you to grow at light speed because that's exciting because it's like been drudgery for me.
I at first, like other realtors, I've seen them like, skyrocket past me and I'm just sitting there like trying to sell a house. And, I'm doing well. I did well last year. I sold 21 houses last year. So I feel like I finally have a level of success that is,
that's amazing.
But,
yeah.
I see some of these new agents and now that I don't care as much, it's not that I don't care, but now I feel like I have a little bit of a little different path.
Yeah.
They try to get competitive, especially the guys, they try to get competitive with me. And I'm like, you know what? I hope y'all just blaze right on past me. I see people at work, they are constantly like, I'm trying to get on your level. I'm trying to get on your level. And I'm like, you could be on it right now because I goof off a lot and I chill out a lot and I miss work. I don't come in a lot. I go to the gym a lot. And they're just like, I walked in the other day at 3 and they were like, the guys are like, are you just getting here? And I'm like, I might be, I might be. And they're like, I said, but I've been productive today. I went to the gym and I took a nap.
I hope that you enjoyed that behind the scene chat with me and Cory. I was really glad that I didn't turn the other microphone off and I was able to capture that. I know that it is not the best quality, so I hope that you can hear us okay and that you appreciate what we were talking about and it might add some value to you. Have a great week, shine bright, and make a difference.